Welcome back, everybody. Today's video, well, let's just say it ended up on the back burner for the time being. It'll come out in 2 weeks. I can teach you about the crystal shapes at any time. Today we're doing something that was slightly more important. This actually came up a couple days ago in my medium circle. One of the girls was saying that I think for the last couple months or so, she had just kept getting sick, couldn't seem to shake it, couldn't seem to get back on her feet, and kind of wanted us to see if we could help her figure out why. And it reminded me of this experiment that I ran back in September. And what it was is it's actually super simple. So think of this way. You make a casserole and you eat it and you go to wash the dish, but the dish is all covered in schmutz. So you have to soak the dish before you wash it in order to get it perfectly clean or before you throw it in the dishwasher. That's what this process is. Now, why is it done? So, this is not a formalized ritual. I do want to make that known. This is not a smudging. What happens is that energetically, you kind of shed your emotions throughout your house, for lack of a better term, which is why every now and then you want to go through and smudge and clean everything out and get rid of all the residual energy. To do this, depending on how you're trained, like I was trained 2 different ways. I was trained to do general house cleanings with, you do the smudging, Reiki, salt if you feel it's needed. And then I was also trained to do psychopomp work, which is if there is a spirit who is stuck and doesn't want to cross over, you try to help them cross over. And again, and that's very similar. It's the smudging and the Reiki and the salt. And then you do a shamanic ritual at the end a shamanic ceremony. Ceremony's better. At the end, call it, the way I was trained is you call in the angels and archangels and spirits of the land and whatnot to help that spirit cross over, and you keep drumming until you can visualize that spirit leaving, and then anything else stuck in the house or anything that doesn't belong there goes along with it. To do that, depending on how you're trained. So even if you're just taking a sage stick and going around and smudging all of the corners and along the walls and whatnot, that can take anywhere, depending on the size of your space, between an hour or longer. So where I am, I think I clocked it because I had a drumming video that was about 3 hours. Maybe 3.5 hours playing. It took me about 3.5 hours to cleanse the entire space on my own. If you have a group of people helping you, it will go quicker because it's like you either separate it by floors or you do the salt, you do the Reiki, you do the drumming, you do this, and then everybody, you just move along. So it will go quicker with more people. But if you're by yourself, you're looking at probably an hour or longer. What this does is this targets one room. Just the one room that needs to be fixed. How do you know it needs to be fixed? Because you live in the house, because this happened here, you may or may not be aware of it. And that's the thing. So, to not go into too much, my dad had some health problems within the last year or so. And the master bedroom just had this really heavy feel. And the only reason I knew that was because I had asked my teacher and some of the other women I know to come through and cleanse the house. And that room was always the heaviest. Took pictures because sometimes you can get psychic images and psychic readings off of pictures. Same deal. A lot of people still felt the room was heavy and uncomfortable. So I'm like, okay, how do I fix this without going through and smudging? So I came up with this idea, and it was an experiment that I ran. And it's super simple. Anybody can do it. You can do this at any time of year. And again, this is not a formalized ritual. And what you will need is either white sage, incense. If you have cones, you can use the cones. I just happen to have the incense sticks. Or sage oil and a bunch of these altar candles, chime candles, whatever you want to call them. And you will do this for between 1 or 2 days up to a week. What you do, you just put your incense. Hopefully this will work. So you just put your incense. All right, so put your incense stick in your incense burner, light it, shut it if you want. You could leave it open and leave it. That's all you got to do. Just leave it in the room. For your candle, you can pick up, this is just like a little chime or altar candle holder. You can probably find these on Amazon, or if you're lucky enough to have like a New Age store or Wiccan store near you, you should be able to find these. Do that. Just put your candle in its holder. Anoint it with the oil. You can do this with gloves on or gloves off. Sage oil is not too bad. It just depends on if you want your hands to smell like sage for a few hours. Please make sure you're getting natural oil or like an essential oil. And you just anoint your candle. Again, light it. You're good to go. Just if you are putting this on a piece of furniture, I'm knocking all stuff over. Please make sure you have it on something like a coaster or a dish or something, because the way these melt, you sometimes find yourself going to like break the seal where the wax is. So, but it's a really simple thing. And then, so you're probably wondering, why would I be doing this in the first place? So again, if you have someone that has been chronically ill, so either within the last month or so or over years, they're sick. There's a lot of sickness in itself is very heavy. Then there are all the accompanying emotions, the anger, the disappointment, the frustration, the sadness. So you can't do what you want. You're angry, you're frustrated. Maybe you can do things. The people around you might be babying you a little bit because they're like, no, we don't want you to either re-injure yourself or make things worse. And you're just like, I just need to do something. And this is really for anyone of any age, whether it's kids or adults or senior citizens or teenagers. Then on top of that, you have people that maybe suffer from mental illness, depression, anxiety, PTSD, bipolar, whatever. It's just very heavy. Then you have teenagers who are going through all the inner turmoil and, they're not comfortable in their body. Everybody remembers what it's like to be a teenager. You're not comfortable. You're awkward. It's a weird time. Your body's changing. Hormones are racing. It's just, it is what it is. So sometimes these make rooms very heavy. Now, it might also be that we're in the holiday season, but depending on the time of year, maybe there's a lot of financial pressure going on. Maybe someone has been out of work for a while. Someone, trying to find a new job. It's the holidays are just stressful in general. Then you figure you've got weddings, christenings, birthdays, whatever else is going on. That's just part of everyday life and those big milestones. So that creates a lot of stress. So maybe you're looking at an office. If you were unlucky enough where you have, you're passing illnesses back and forth in the family. Maybe you've got the kids are sick, you and your significant other is sick. Everybody's just passing stuff back and forth, and you all kind of settled in one room. Maybe the kids are in the den. They're all sick. They're all just hanging out, watching TV, doing whatever. And that room feels a little off. Doesn't matter where, doesn't matter how. This will basically act as the metaphysical soak to release all of that ick. One of my teachers called it ick energy, that gunk, that heavy energy that just needs to be lightened up and gotten rid of. If you're doing this in a larger space, like a kitchen or a playroom, you may need like two, like a candle on each end or an incense stick on each end, just so that you can effectively clean. Um, but otherwise, just you stick it and you go. That's it. Close the door if you need to. If you need to keep little hands and furry four-legged friends or feathered friends out of the room, make sure nothing goes wrong. Now, here's the other thing. If you have someone that is very allergic to smoke, very sensitive to smell, whatever, or maybe you just kind of want it, you don't want them to know what you were doing, you just want to air everything out. During the nice weather, you can just leave the window open. Because what that also does is it takes the energy from the sage, that smudging, kind of burning energy, and it introduces fresh air. Fresh air is another natural cleanser, so it will blow through the room. It will not only get rid of the smell, but it will also help to get rid of all that energy that you're trying to get rid of in the first place. That's why you'll find when you open the windows for the first time in the spring after being shut, it's just this blast of clean air that kind of blows through all the rooms because it's blowing out and getting rid of all of that stagnant energy that has built up over the winter. If you are doing this in the winter time, like now, and you live like I do either in New England or the Northwest, somewhere where it's cold and there's a lot of snow, then you don't want to do this with the window open. Wait until after everything has burned down or burnt out. Crack the window for 5-10 minutes and you should be good. That cold air is also really good to just kind of move things around, clean things out, shut the window, and you're good to go. If it's for an older family member, then yeah, you may need to wait a little bit to let the room warm back up, but it's for their benefit, because what starts to happen is the room is lighter, they are lighter. Because all of a sudden that space that they're sleeping in or they're doing things in is lighter, and it helps to lift them up, which is kind of what you want. Should you also have any religion, if you're a person of faith or if you're more spiritual, if you have any statues or images or representations of beings that you wish to call upon for help, do that too. That just kind of amplifies it. So, and it doesn't have to be for the person that you're doing it for. It can be for someone else in the family or for the whole family. So if you have someone that has been chronically ill, maybe you want to petition whoever it is you're lighting a candle in front of. Can you please help the whole family to heal, not just this one person, because we all need some help. Or it might be this other person in the family is going through kind of a rough time. Can you help these two people? Or this, you're cleaning one room, but you're setting a prayer for another one, because incense and candles have historically been used as offerings to deities of all kinds under all names for centuries. So it's just an automatic offering. So don't feel bad to make that petition of help. Well, I guess petition for help or whatever. Help this person find a job. Help me find a job. Help this person feel better. Watch over this person. Watch over the family. Or you can, gratitude. Thanks for all the help. Thanks for everything. But you don't have to. You don't have to do that either. If you don't want to, you don't have to. It's another layer that you can add to the healing process and to the process of clearing everything out. And that's it. You're good to go. Just let it. And then again, one day, you may do this one day, you may do this for a week. If you find that you keep forgetting to do it, then it just means you're good. The universe is like, nah, you're good. It's clean. It's good. The other really nice thing that I don't know how well known this is, sage is a natural antibacterial. And I know some of you are standing there going or watching this going, but things like the common cold, the flu, COVID, whatnot, they're viruses. They're not bacteria. What good is this going to do? Try it anyway. Because one thing you're going to find is that the air actually smells cleaner after burning the sage. It's really weird. I don't know how to explain it. It's just something I've always noticed. So that when I would burn a candle anointed with sage, the air smelled better because it's a natural purifier. So, especially if you have people, if you and your family have been getting a lot of chest colds, this might also help clear out whatever residuals hanging out in the air. It's a great help. I did the last year around this time. My dad and I both had COVID, and after we were both better, I went through with the sage and was smudging all the rooms. Like, okay, let's just see if we can clean the air out now. What you're not gonna do? Do not lay, do not lay, do not light a sage stick and just stick it in whatever, a shell or a dish, and let it burn down. Please don't do that. If you're going to do it, then just smudge and smudge daily, which you can do. You can also do that. You can smudge a room every day if that appeals to you. This is just a lot easier because you're just setting it and forgetting it and walking away. Please also be safe when you're working with candles, so make sure you are somewhere in the vicinity. So if you need to do this in the evening, do this in the evening. If you can do it during the day, do it during the day. Work it however you need to do it, change it however you need to change it. Candles. That was another thing I wanted to bring up because I'm sure some of you are going, well, there are sage candles. Can I use those? My instinct is to say no, just because I don't know what kind of oils are being used in the production of the candle, and I don't really know if it ever says. Like some of the really big commercial brands. If you can get it from a small commercial brand and you know for a fact that they are using essential oils, then sure, try it. See if that works, if that feels better to you as opposed to anointing something like this with oil. Also too, like I know there's a woman that comes to our drum circles that makes her own candles, puts herbs from her own yard in when she makes them, and she sells them like that. Something like that, I would be like, yeah, sure, buy a sage one, burn that. Don't do it all in one day. Again, do it in stages, because you're just progressively trying to lighten up the area. You don't want to take the candle, burn it for 6 hours. I mean, yeah, sure, it might work, but it's just nice to do it more gradually. It's a lot gentler. Like, I've never timed these to see how long they burn. So maybe even if it's 45 minutes to an hour, maybe a couple hours, you're good. I think the incense burns. I was trying to figure that out because I've never timed this either. I know 5 minutes is way too short, but like 20 minutes seems like a really long time. But maybe that is 15, 20 minutes, half hour. It probably depends on the airflow in the room, how quick it burns, whatnot. But it's just enough. It's just enough time, whichever method you use, to be good. So commercial grade candles, like from the really big brand name ones, if you can find out what they're using, fine. There are cleansing candles. There's one candle brand I like. It's called Crystal Journey Candles. They do make a cleansing candle. If you have one of those, you can try it. What I would probably recommend is run your own experiment. Try a candle one day and the sage the other, like the sage incense or the anointed candle the next day, and see if the energy feels different. Does it feel the same? Does it smell different? Because this has traditionally been used for centuries for smudging, for cleansing, for cooking, but so it's known as a good smudge. So I'm going to leave that up to you. Also, feel free to alter and change this according to any traditions you have. If you're like, well, we always use this incense to do such and such, try that. Try that incense, the oil, whatever. Do what works for you. If you just have like generic angel statues, like I'm just kind of looking around, there are statues that we have that I leave out all year, and then there's some for Christmas. So if you have like a generic angel, it's not a representation of anything, but you want to use that, you can. Again, pictures, statues, imagery, pictures of deceased family, you can use those as well. Call in the ancestors for help as opposed to calling in maybe a deity. You can do that. Figure out what works best for you. Make it your own. This was just an experiment I happened to run that worked out really well, and it's really good at targeting those really heavy areas in the home that you may or may not be aware of because you're there every day. You're walking through them. You're like, yeah, it's a little, it feels a little dense or whatever. But it's because it's usually connected to the person. The room is connected to the person, and the person is connected to the room. So if the person's going through some stuff, it's gonna be reflected in the energy of the room. So like, let me move these because I'm gonna throw something on the floor by accident. So like if you have someone that's really religious or really spiritual or really happy and upbeat, the room's going to be really light. If you have someone that's just in the middle of some stuff and like working through things, or the depression's been really bad, the room's going to reflect that. The room's going to be really heavy. So this will help you to target those spaces and help your loved ones to lighten up. So I hope this works for you. If you let me know what you think. Maybe it doesn't work for you. I don't know. I mean, I've tried it. I thought it worked really well, and I saw changes both in the room and in the people in the room. So I thought it did well. But yeah, so I hope you find this useful. I hope you are doing well, my friends. I will see you in 2 weeks. I have some shorts planned, and the next 3 videos will all be on crystal shapes, unless for whatever reason I get derailed again and go off on another tangent that I feel you need to hear because it's really useful. So take care, enjoy, be safe. Until we meet again, bye.